up, dudes? Little amp history lesson for you. Did you know that before the Vox Cambridge reverb was a solid state amp for 2 years in the mid-60s, 1965 and 1966, it was actually an all-tube 17-watt tube amp featuring reverb and tremolo, manufactured by Thomas Organ Company out of Sepulveda, California. JMI was making the Voxes in the UK, but Thomas Organ Company made this amp to compete with the Fender Princeton, which had become a very popular amp, and Fender had just been purchased by CBS. This was big news. And the Thomas Organ Company wanted to get a piece of this. Being the distributor for Vox in the United States, had this amp made, and it featured a very different speaker. It featured this Vox Bulldog speaker. Now, the speaker is marked as being made by Jennings, but it was made by Oxford, which would become a supplier of speakers for Fender. This amp, all EL84 driven, 17 watts, like I said, is really a cross between an AC-15 and like a Princeton, featuring that reverb and that tremolo, and really being able to crank like a Princeton and kind of get dirty, and really has that same feel. A 110 combo really gives it a great little sound here, and it really does feel like the Vox grab-and-go equivalent of that Princeton. This is EL84 driven, 4 12AX7s, has a really beautiful clean sound and a really nice drive. Now, in all the packs, you will see that there are options for speakers for the included gold bulldog, as these speakers are now called, and they're really excellent. Really one of my favorite old speakers that kind of gets slept on, and they're not very expensive if you ever want to pick one up aftermarket and throw it in an amp you have. But you also will get either IRs or included versions, depending on ToneX, QC, Kemper, whatever. You'll also get options for larger cabinets, 412s with greenbacks, classic Celestion kind of stuff, like some old Celestion Silvers, so the Alnico sound, and heavy magnet, small magnet, that type of thing. So you get a ton of options. You can make this thing sound a bunch of different ways depending on the speaker. But this little guy, this is one of the great vintage amps that doesn't get enough love, only made for 2 years. A cross between an AC-15 and a Princeton, I think, is a really good way to describe it, and it sounds like this.